Good morning, Bonneville County. You have this is Breakfast with Senator Cook. I am Idaho State Senator Kevin Cook from District 32. We're live on Facebook, and we try to do this every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And so get your questions ready and text them, email me, put them out here on the Facebook, and we'll try to answer them the best we can, or I'll have to get back with you on those if you got some hard questions. Anyway, give you a little information. I serve on the, I just got a new assignment, so we just had our organization session meeting. So our session begins, I think it's January 9th, I believe. But anyway, a new assignment I have is I'm serving as the chairman of the Commerce and Human Resource Committee. I'm still on the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee. That's the one that does all the budgets for the state. I did serve on the Senate Education Committee the last 2 years. However, I had a chance to be a chairman, and I absolutely wanted to be on JFAC. I feel like I do some good there on JFAC. And so by the time I got back around the second turn to choose what committees I wanted to be, education was full. So I'm really, really disappointed that I didn't get on education. I love education. I am absolutely passionate about education, getting our kids the very, very best education we can. And so I'm disappointed I didn't get on that, but hopefully I can do some good and help in a roundabout way while serving on JFAC. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see, I'm also serve on the Commission for Education Excellence Committee. Funding construction of public buildings. That one is, Senator Lent is the co-chair of that, and we meet every 2 weeks trying to come up with a way to help us, to the state and the districts, to afford schools, to build those schools, to add on to them, to modify them, to keep the maintenance of those buildings. And so we're looking at a whole bunch of different options, and I think we have some really good options that will be coming forward. And if you want to watch those, they're out there. If you do a search on, what is it, Idaho Legislator, if you search on that, you'll find those meetings. So they're online. You can listen to them, watch them, and see what's going on if that interests you. I also serve a new assignment as a local government and tax committee. I'm hoping to get on the Economic Outlook Committee. Because I'm serving as the chairman of the Commerce and Human Resource, they tell me I should be on the Economic Outlook Committee, so we'll see. I serve on the State Group Insurance Advisory Committee, and I believe we have a meeting Monday on that. Again, you can jump online and listen to it if that interests you. Let's see. I'm also on the Idaho Technology Authority Committee, which plays really well with my profession as a software engineer, so I enjoy that committee. Also, I'm on the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education Committee, and I really like that one. That deals with higher education, so that's great. Anyway, if you have any questions, again, please write them up, text me, email me, call me, put them here on Facebook, and I will try to get to them. So today, I want to talk about property tax. Now, we talked about property tax probably about a month and a half ago, I think. I want to talk about it again. Senator Groh has worked really hard on this bill. He started working on it when the session ended in this year. So way back in March, April, he started working on this bill to see how we could give property tax relief to people. So let's get started on that. So in my opinion, property tax is the most egregious and regressive tax that homeowners pay. We only pay income taxes if we have an income. We only pay sales tax if we buy something. And we can reduce the amount of sales tax we pay by altering the types of purchases we make. But we have no control over our property taxes. We pay property taxes on our homes even if we have no income. We lose our job, we retire, or experience a health crisis, or even if we've paid off our property, we have no mortgage, we still pay property tax. Property tax is a constant inflicted on us homeowners without our choosing. Even though we may not receive any new services, we must pay ever-increasing property taxes whenever local taxing authorities choose to raise their budgets. And after all that, many of the services our property taxes support are used by others who are paying nothing for property tax. This tax of all taxes, in my opinion, is the most unfair. Several past legislation acts have already provided major tax relief for businesses, and individuals who pay income taxes. But there has been only limited property tax relief for homeowners. This bill provides property tax relief from the existing sales tax. It does not raise the sales tax or any other tax, nor does it shift the property tax burden to someone else. It is completely paid for within the existing tax structure, and that is important to understand. Okay? And I need to let you know, I am still getting phone calls and emails and text messages. Help. Why is my property tax so high? How can I pay my property tax? I'm losing my home because of property tax. So we have to do something. Okay. So how does the homeowner receive this property tax relief? Okay. For owner-occupied homes, this relief will show up on their property tax notice as a subtraction from the total amount of tax that has been determined by local taxing authorities. The homeowner will simply pay the reduced amount. Okay, so let's give an example. Okay, total property taxes, say on an owner-occupied residence. Okay, so let's say it's your home. You own $3,000 for property tax on your home that you're living in. Right, we're going to subtract the bonds and other voter-approved levies, and we're going to assume that's 25% of the total bill, or $750. So that leaves you with a property tax bill of $2,250. That's what we're going to deal with in this example, okay? So $2,250. The state property tax relief would be approximately 40% of that $2,250, which is equal to $900. The homeowner would pay $1,350 of the $2,250, excluded the bonds and other levies. So, in other words, $2,100 of the original $3,000 bill. Okay, that's what you'd owe. So, next question. How is this property tax relief administered? Each year, the state will appropriate 10% of the annual sales tax. It will then distribute the amount to counties according to the eligible property tax, non-voter approved property tax, okay, levied on homeowners' properties in each county. That money will then be allocated to homeowners according to the eligible property tax on each qualifying home. The larger the property tax, the larger the allocation to the homeowner. Relief will not be given for property taxes that are under local voter controlled, such as bonds and school levies. Okay, so this is only for the property tax. Okay, it's not for the schools or anything else. All right, so now you ask, why is this a good bill then? Well, let me tell you. Let me give you some reasons, okay, or reasons that I feel like this is a good bill. A, it is not a tax shift from one group to another, as would happen, for example, when an increase in the homeowner's exemption. This bill does not raise property taxes on any property, either commercial or residential. B, it does not increase property taxes paid by homeowners when assessed values or levy rates change. The relief is based on the amount of the property tax, not on changes in assessed values of the levy rates. C, there is no adverse effect on local taxing authorities and districts. It does not change or constrict the budget setting processes for local taxing authorities. House Bill 389 that we passed last year already sets limits on the ability of local taxing districts to increase their budgets. Okay, D, it provides real and substantial property tax relief for homeowners. E, relief is ongoing. This is not a one-time fix. F, no tax increase of any kind. Okay, there is no tax increase. G, the tax relief is clear. The amount is highlighted on the tax notice as a simple subtraction, so you will see it. H, it's easy to administer by the state and counties. I, no lag time for implementation. The relief from the state surplus begins in the first year. J, makes home ownership more attainable for all Idahoans, for your kids, my kids, grandkids. Okay? K, it provides real ongoing property tax relief from sales tax revenues. Alternative approaches such as changes in the homeowner exemption are temporary fixes that do not adapt to future changes in the economy. The tax relief under this bill continues to grow as the sales tax increases. L, sales tax is collected from everyone who uses the community services, not just from homeowners who pay property taxes. This is a more fair approach to providing those services. M, does not cause an incentive to pass bonds or supplemental levies because those are not subsidized by this property tax relief. By their vote, homeowners have the option to approve or not approve bonds and school levies. N, does not cause an incentive to increase local taxing districts' budgets because the relief is not tied to those budgets. O, it is a property tax relief for homeowners, not budget enhancements for local governments. And P, and final, this is fair for all areas of the state. All homeowners in the state receive the same percentage reduction in their eligible property taxes. So, possible concerns. Okay, let's go through that. Here's some concerns. Why should a state pay the property tax relief from the state general funds? Answers. 1, the existing state tax structure is too high, as evidenced by ongoing excessive budget surplus, and you've seen that, okay? 2, it is the taxpayers' money, whether it goes through the state's collection process or is collected by local taxing authority. It's your money, it's the taxpayers' money. 3, on average, the state revenues continue to increase substantially year after year. The state has sufficient rainy day funds and other reserves to offset the downturns in the economy. And 4, the state will have sufficient funds to address inflation without being incentivized to grow government beyond the rate of inflation. Okay? And B, does this bill help renters? Well, while this bill does directly help renters, does not directly help renters. It does lower property taxes on the owner-occupied homes, making them more affordable relative to rental properties. This should put downward pressure on rental rates relative to homes. Guys, I truly believe this is a great bill. This bill makes use of excess sales tax revenue to provide substantial and ongoing property tax relief to homeowners. I think it's a good thing. So listen to that, look at it, kick the tires, and then let me know what you think. Let's see, some other stuff this week. I went and visited with, really interesting, so Region 6. It was all the school superintendents in Region 6, and it goes all the way up to St. Anthony's and all the way, I think we had the farthest south, south, Blackfoot was there. But it was really interesting to sit down and talk with all the superintendents and listen to some of their concerns, some of the things that they're looking at as far as legislation. One of the things that they're looking at is is providing, maintaining a funding base on student enrollment and not revert back to the attendance base. So during the COVID, we changed that a little bit. We said, oh, we're not going to, your money is not based on if a student's butt is sitting in the chair. It's if the student enrolled for that school year. Of course, if they move, that's different. But and so we've looked at that. And I think we'll end up probably going that direction, is going if the student is enrolled versus the student is in attendance. Some people say, well, wait a minute, if you do that, you know, the teachers won't call and try to follow up and get the students back to school. And I don't believe that's true. We got great teachers that are committed to teaching kids. And they will do whatever they can to get that kid back to school and teaching them and help them get back to education. So anyway, it was a busy week, great week. Again, let me know what you think of this property tax relief. I'd love to hear from you. Okay? Have a great Saturday, and we will talk to you later. Bye.